What's going on, guys? Welcome back to ADiktion TV. I hope everybody's having a good 4th of July and having a good 4th of July weekend, a good and a safe one. You know what I'm saying? You know I'm celebrating. Got my beer right here. Hold on a second. Let's chug together, y'all. Happy 4th of July. Before we go any further in this video, I want to warn you guys, you might hear some fireworks. All of my neighbors are like letting off fireworks and shit. So if you hear some popping sounds in the background, that's probably what it is. So in today's video, I am finally doing my top 10 horror movies from the early 2000s. Y'all know I've been wanting to do this list for such a long time, man, and I enjoyed making this list. Before we get started, I'm going to say not all these movies are necessarily good movies. They just mean something to me. Everyone's going to have different opinions on my list, you know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and start this thing off with number 10. And coming in at number 10 is Darkness Falls. This movie is not necessarily a very good horror movie. It's actually really not a good movie in general. But when I was a kid growing up, I'm not going to lie to y'all, I was terrified of the dark. And this movie did not help that. You know, the Tooth Fairy who kills you if you look at her, and the only way you're safe is if you stay in the light. That messed with my head growing up. And it bothered me a little bit. I was like, man. But it wasn't even really that. It was the noises that the Tooth Fairy made. Matilda. The sounds that... It was the sounds. And the fact that you're not safe in the dark. It really bothered me. Coming in at number 9 is probably the worst movie in the Scream franchise, but coming in at number 9 is Scream 3. I have a lot of nostalgia for Scream 3. I remember back in the day, I think it was not the first Scream movie I'd ever seen, but I think it was one of the first ones I ever owned on VHS, and I had to watch it a lot since I didn't own the first or second Scream, so I had to watch this movie a lot, and I could probably quote this movie from beginning to end. So it's just nostalgia. This movie is not good. It's just, it means a lot to me growing up. And I will say one thing I really do love about Scream 3 is I love the look of Ghostface in this film. I actually think Ghostface looks the best in Scream 3. That's just my personal opinion, though. Everyone has their own opinion, and everyone probably thinking, he looks the same in every movie, but the mask does slightly change a little bit. Not much, but just a tiny, tiny bit. Before we get into this next one, let's chug again. Coming in at number 8 is Jason X. Just like the last two on this list, this movie is not necessarily a good movie at all. I mean, Jason in outer space, come on, that sounds really stupid. But I'm not gonna lie, I actually really like the kills in this movie. And I'd say my favorite kill is, excuse me, I'd say my favorite kill is probably, I'm stuck between two. It's probably when Jason freezes the girl's face and then slams it on the counter and it shatters, or it's the part when one of the guys are coming out of the bedroom after having sex with this girl and Jason stabs him with the machete and the guy turns around, he pulls the machete out by the blade, and I'm like, hey, I like that kill. But another reason I like Jason X is it's different than any other Friday the 13th movie. It takes Jason out of Crystal Lake, and it has a whole new setting, and we're not walking around in the woods for an hour and a half. And I think that's one reason I'm not huge on the Friday the 13th movies. I like them, but I don't know. Jason X, early 2000s, not a great movie, but you know, that's why it comes in at number 8. It was just something I grew up on and had fun watching. Speaking of Jason, coming in at number 7 is Freddy vs. Jason. I remember hearing for years that they were going to make a Freddy vs. Jason, and it just never happened. And when people started talking about it in the early 2000s, even though I was a little kid, I'd still be over there telling my friends, like, it's never going to happen, it's not going to happen. And then it happened. And this is a fun movie. It's hilarious. It's not scary by any means, but I enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, I was always a bigger Freddy fan than Jason. And it really disappointed me that Freddy really got like only one kill in this movie. But that's okay. I still liked the movie. I enjoyed it. It was a gore fest and it was dope. Coming in at number 6 is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003, starring Jessica Biel. Dude, I absolutely loved this movie growing up. I thought this was one of the better remakes of all time. Leatherface was extremely intimidating in this movie, and this movie left you feeling uncomfortable. It left you feeling dirty. And Jessica Biel, she killed it in this movie. And the sheriff, oh man, he is fucking hilarious. He cracks me up. His smart-ass remarks, his attitude, it's just, this guy cracks me up. He even cracked me up in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning, the prequel to this film. And the prequel wasn't as good as Texas Chainsaw 2003, but man, that cop, he made the movie for me. But Leatherface was dope as hell in this movie. Coming in at number 5 is Wrong Turn, starring Eliza Dushku, Desmond Harrington, and Emmanuel Shrieky. Boy, I was such a young boy when this movie came out, and I remember having the biggest crush on Eliza Dushku and Emmanuel Shrieky. I was like, damn, they're beautiful. But anyways, I actually enjoy this movie, and it really doesn't do anything that hillbilly horror movies didn't do in the past, except make me laugh. I thought Three Finger was hilarious, running around the woods like I thought that shit was hilarious. This movie's not scary. I mean, it freaked me out because, you know, I was a little kid watching it in the middle of the night by myself, so it freaked me out a little bit, you know, and there's woods all around me and shit. So, you know, it messed with me a little bit. And I actually liked the design of the hillbillies. I think it was a little overdone, but the makeup is definitely better than the makeup in any of the sequels. Coming in at number 4 is Joyride, starring Paul Walker and Steve Zahn. I have a lot of love for Joyride, man. This movie, I had so much fun with this movie growing up and showing it to my friends, making my mom watch it. And as cheesy as it is, Paul Walker trying to sound like a woman, "Hey Rusty now, can you hear me?" Like, you know, it was just so cheesy. But I have a thing where I like horror movies that take place on a highway. I've always liked that. And it's just a fun movie, and I have a lot of nostalgia for it. Like, and I love Paul Walker's movies. You know, Paul Walker was a great actor. Rest in peace. Steve Zahn was hilarious in this movie. It's not a very violent movie, but the guy who plays the voice of Rusty Nail, I can't remember the actor's name, but he also played Big Bob in The Hills Have Eyes and Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs. And I like how they never like actually show Rusty Nail. You get the scene, but you don't fully get to find out what he looks like until some of the cheesy sequels. But in the first Joyride, you only get little small glimpses of him. Coming in at number 3 is Jeepers Creepers, starring Justin Long and Gina Phillips. Man, just like before, when I was a kid watching this movie, I developed a big crush on Gina Phillips. I just thought she was adorable in this movie. In my opinion, Jeepers Creepers is a creature feature classic. I mean, it meant so much to me growing up. Even though Victor Salva, fuck that guy, we're not going to get into all that. But growing up, Jeepers Creepers, I thought was great. And the movie did creep me out. I really just enjoyed the movie more than being afraid of it. It freaked me out, and I was more afraid of it before we actually found out what the creeper looked like. Like the scene when he's dumping the bodies down the pipe, or down that drain pipe or whatever. That scene when Trish and Barry drive by and the creeper's just watching them standing by the church, that part freaked me out. And I do like the design of the creeper. I just thought it was scarier when they didn't show what he looked like. But this one's number 3 because it was something I just watched over and over and over again. I didn't get tired of it, and me and my friends would constantly watch this movie. Coming in at number 2 is Signs, starring Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix. Signs is an M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong movie that I actually really enjoyed. The story is so good, and Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix, they kill their roles in this movie. And I've always had a thing for extraterrestrial movies, and I just love how, you know, the aliens are leaving crop circles, and the kids, they go to this bookstore and get a book that tells them how to keep the aliens from reading their minds. And I actually liked the look of the aliens in this movie. They weren't like overdone. They weren't like these big, disgusting looking monsters or big bug looking things. They looked like what I would imagine an alien to look like if aliens existed. My dad is actually the person who made me watch Signs growing up, and I loved it. Like, the beginning was a little boring for me because I was so young, and I'm like, okay, there's really nothing going on here. But I grew to love the movie, and like I said, the scene where the alien comes out from behind the garage at the birthday party, man, that shit creeped me out, and this movie means so much to me, and that's why it's number 2. And coming in at number 1 is 13 Ghosts. First of all, I am a huge Matthew Lillard fan. I loved him in Scream. I loved him in Scooby-Doo. This dude is hilarious. And what's so creepy about the movie is the thought of being trapped in a house with 13 ghosts that you can only see if you're wearing these certain glasses. That freaked me out as a kid. But nothing in this movie freaked me out more than the jackal. The jackal absolutely screwed with my head when I was a kid, and it gave me nightmares, honestly. It literally gave me nightmares. It's a little cheesy now, but as a kid, that freaked me out. And the angry princess, she freaked me out, made me not really want to look at boobs ever again. But I think the other one that really creeped me out the most was the dire mother and her big ass baby, or whatever the hell he was supposed to be. That shit creeped me out. And 13 Ghosts was something that me and my aunt watched together, and every time me and her would watch a horror movie together when I was young, it just meant so much to me. We always had a great time, and we'd laugh, we'd get scared, and it was just so much fun. But that's my list, my top 10 horror movies from the early 2000s. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was so much fun making this list, and I can't wait to do the mid-2000s and the late 2000s. But let me know down in the comments, what's your favorite early 2000s horror movies? Did you guys like my list? Did you hate the movies on the list? Did you like some of them? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, guys, coming at you from ADiktion TV with top 10 horror movies from the mid-2000s, and I'll see you there.